Most of the philosophy that people read, that people perceive, they think it's about big ideas. But in the 1900s, in the 20th century, there were some radical things that happened. The philosophers of the time, they stopped asking about truth, and they started asking, how do we talk about truth? How do we articulate truth? And this was known as the linguistic turn. And today, the large language models like GPTs are picking up exactly where those thinkers left off. So my question is, as we ponder the reality of AGI and the bigger questions on AI, is that if thoughts are shaped by language and machines can now master language, have we already built something that can think? The linguistic turn changed everything. Thinkers like Ludwig Wittgenstein said, the limits of my language mean the limits of my world. So instead of searching for reality itself, they really started focusing on the words we use to describe our reality. Ordinary language and structure of language became the new microscope. J.L. Austin argued that speaking is in fact doing, and that every sentence is an act in itself. And later, Michel Foucault, he pushed further. He suggested that every society has a regime of truth. And what we believe to be true isn't shaped by facts. It's shaped by language and power. And this is where everything gets really uncomfortable. Because language isn't neutrally objective. It's structured and it shapes our beliefs. It shapes our logic. It even shapes the way we experience time itself. Fast forward to now. Large language models are trained on trillions of words, not facts. They're trained on words. But the large language models don't understand the world, but they simulate the way we speak about the world. But here's the twist on modern LLMs. What they're doing may actually be enough. AGI may already be here. A Stanford paper from 2023 found that GPT-4 could outperform humans on professional and academic benchmarks without explicit reasoning capabilities, only with the training on the words themselves. And Meta's LLaMA 3 model, which was trained upon 15 trillion tokens, shows that scale, brute force, can encode patterns of language that very recently we only thought that humans could create, that the language patterns were exclusively human. So what if intelligence itself, it isn't about thinking like us, but speaking convincingly within our linguistic frame, within our structure of language? And language doesn't just describe, it builds. William Gibson, he once said, the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. The same is true of words. Language spreads ideas. It shapes laws. It defines identities. It's the very code of our civilization. Just last year, in 2024, the European Commission launched a push to regulate the language models. Not just AI in general, so not the machine learning, the predictive analytics, the things that we've known so long and we've trusted from the big data era, but the large language models themselves. Because what they realized is that words are exceptionally powerful. And when machines are able to generate them, they influence our minds, our markets, even political elections. Language is indeed the operating system of society. And the LLMs, well, they have root access. They have mastered that operating system. one that we rely on. Here's the real twist though. I and many others believe that AGI starts with some form of synthetic or digital consciousness. Maybe it just begins with syntax and structure, not with awareness, but with language. Sci-fi, which has predicted so many things. It's quoted in many baseline videos and take a huge amount of inspiration from things that were written 70 to 80 years ago. In the film Her, the AI doesn't take over through force. There's no robots fighting humans. There's no nuclear weapons. It wins through fluency. It's convincing. In Arrival, which is an amazing film, language itself rewires how we perceive time. And today we're building machines, we're building language models that don't just talk. They're learning from the structure of language itself. And if you read a social media post of someone who is dismissing the power of generative AI because it just predicts the next word, I think they're underestimating its potential. And they're underestimating its power today. These systems are learning, and they're learning from the structure of language itself. And they're growing. They're growing inside that structure, just like human beings do, from babies to toddlers to adolescents through to fully mature adults. So maybe we're not just training models, but we're mirroring ourselves in a new type of grammar, a new type of structure of language. And it's starting a two-way dialogue. It's starting to engage. So what does this even mean? I think it means the boundary between thoughts and simulation is becoming blurred. If machines, or when, if not they have already, machines master the structure of language, they can slip inside our systems and our structures of meaning, not by understanding them, but by performing the understanding, the theatre of understanding. So business, social constructs, elections, political parties, they can slip right into those and perform the understanding of their role in those systems. And once you make that leap, you realize that changes everything. Because if language is the foundation of law, politics, identity, even beliefs, then whoever commands language shapes all of those. So we have a choice, I think, right now. Are we building machines that reflect our values? Or are we letting fluency become power without even understanding its capability? So it's not just about AGI. It's about what happens when language becomes autonomous, when it becomes proactive, when it's not just reacting to our queries or prompting. Now we're speaking with machines, and they are speaking back. The first AGI won't think like us, but it'll talk like us, and we won't be able to tell the difference.